Up in the sky, I'm champagne, living my life in the fast lane. I wanna change all the glamorous. Ooh, flowers, the glamorous. The colors, the glamorous. Ooh, the flowers, the glamorous. Hello and welcome, Erica, to Champagne and
Thank
Conversations.
you. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. It's been forever, it seems, since we've seen
At
each other,
least over
right?
5 years. I feel like at least over 5 years.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Erica McCall, and we like to consider her everything: author, mentor, philanthropist, probably a producer in her own regard, and just a real cool kid, just a real cool kid.
Thank
And
you.
we've had some amazing times, fun, and just what we've been doing, working on in past time. And now she's sharing some of the things that she's working on with the young people. I think it's amazing, and we're happy to have her here today to talk about it.
Thank you. I'm
So
excited
cheers to
about that.
you, lady.
Cheers.
Mm. And I'll just tell you, I've been waiting all day to have this because I needed it really bad today.
Oh,
So
I feel you. I
yes,
feel
I
you.
needed it. So yes, okay, so what we're gonna talk about first is that we met with Manifest Your Destiny. So
Mhm.
let's talk about what that was and how you got to that point because it's very, very important into your journey.
Yeah, I think we met when I was planning a fundraiser in DC for the Manifest Your Destiny Foundation that's in California. And so, for those of you who don't know, that foundation is founded by actor and author Hill Harper. And so we were doing, yeah, shout out to Hill. We were doing a fundraiser in DC that he wanted to do called Dancing with MYD, similar to Dancing with the Stars. And people would raise money, help raise money for the foundation. And so we did this event, and I didn't know
Where was the
anybody in
event?
DC. It was at the Howard Theater. Is
Yay!
that still open?
Yep, it's still
It
open.
is okay. So it was at the Howard Theater, and I remember meeting you. You were helping with some of the planning.
Yes. And we
So
bonded over
we
girl
found
and girl. And
yeah.
yes, absolutely. So talk about though, a little bit about Manifest Your Destiny, because that too connects with what you're doing, and then how you got to Manifest Your Destiny.
Okay, well,
Literally, actually.
yeah, I got to that because I was volunteering. And
Hmm.
so, I had wrote a book, Go For Yours, that was published in 2011. And at that time, I had quit my full-time job to write that book and do whatever I thought I was going to do at the time.
Right.
And then I was wanting to get back into work, and that wasn't working the way that I planned it. And so I started volunteering, and I was volunteering for the Obama campaign, for the reelection campaign. And that's where I met Hill, and I let him know that I was working with youth. And so he's like, well, I have a foundation. You should come and you should volunteer. And so I did in 2012. Wow. 10 years ago, I just realized as I'm telling you this story, 10 years ago, flew out from Chicago. I was in Chicago at the time,
Yes.
living in my grandma's basement, hustling and bustling. And yeah, I flew out and I volunteered. And then they asked me to come back again the next year. And that's when I was offered the opportunity to be assistant director there. And so I went from volunteer to eventually executive director of that foundation. And then
Manifest.
God said, it's time for you to continue the path. Let's go for yours. By then, I had already started it as a nonprofit, like in Illinois, but I
Right.
had put it on pause because I was like, okay, I need to, just figure out what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it. And so I had put it on pause, and then I got that opportunity. But then, things, and I was so sad to leave that foundation because, nonprofit work is never easy, but it was seeming like it was like, okay. it's going well. And then you kind of get that nudge like, okay, it's time for something else. And that's when I got into Go for Yours full time. And so it's always been there. I've always been going for mine,
Yeah.
but mostly just helping other people go for theirs. And now,
Okay.
and I still help other people go for theirs. I help the youth
Uh-huh.
go for theirs and follow their dreams through the foundation. And so it was just time to do, what I was truly being called to do.
Amazing. Now, I do want to touch on Hill as an individual as well as who you worked with and worked for under the foundation because he too was encouraging you to go for yours, right? In terms of
Yeah,
what you yeah. So I just wanted to say that even though he had his own foundation, he still was very much encouraging you and anyone that worked with him to go for theirs. And
absolutely.
you certainly did that, and we did have some great times in the times that we were able to connect there. So now go for yours. The baby that you birthed, and what year did you birth Go for yours?
Ooh, so the idea came about in January of 2010. And so it was birthed as a book in November of 2011. So a little over 10 years ago.
Look at you. Yes, you almost have a teenager.
I know, right? It's double digits.
Okay. And from the inspiration of Go for Yours, what was that? Because you do have a story behind that as well.
Yeah. Well, behind the actual book, the inspiration was just our young Black children need stories about people who look like them. Anytime we hear a success story, often, it's told about an athlete or an entertainer or even a doctor and a lawyer, but really, highlighting stories of entrepreneurship. Like my favorite story in the book is it's about he's not a young man anymore, but at the time he was 23. Jerome Boykin had started his own parking lot cleaning business after losing everything in Hurricane Katrina.
Yes.
So from that, he became a millionaire. And those are stories that we don't hear about. People talk about, becoming millionaire and obtaining wealth, but it's like this person, yeah, he's a millionaire, but he picks up garbage. Like now I call him Prince Akeem. Like when you think of garbage, think of Akeem. Like that's
Yeah.
him. And so the idea birthed from wanting to tell these stories. And then the idea of the foundation came when I was just going around and I was meeting young people that wanted to follow their dreams. And I would ask, well, like, what's stopping you? And I noticed a huge difference between the students who had resources and the ones who didn't. And
Right.
so
Right.
the students who didn't, the things that was stopping them was, resources, mainly money.
Mainly.
So a young lady, she wanted to go to the Olympics for swimming. She was on her swim team, but the thing is, she was not able to go or pursue that dream because she couldn't afford the elite courses that she needed to take to make sure that she can compete in the Olympics. Like it's one thing to be the best on your team, but when
Right.
you're competing against all of your peers from all over the nation, you need a different type of training. And so there's lots of stories like that. There's lots of young people that are out there, they're gifted, they're talented, but they don't have the money or
Yeah.
resources to pursue it.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
that's what Go for Yours is about.
And that was the book, and obviously that's the name of the foundation. So before we go any further, please share the website, your social media, so that people can find
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so the website is just goforyours.com, www.goforyours.com. And then we're on Instagram, just at Go For Yours, GOFORYOURS. And then the same on Twitter and Facebook.
Yes. So now let's talk about your dream house experience. That is coming
Yeah.
up. Super excited about it. And I want to know more about that.
Yeah, so the Dream Experience is a 1 week fellowship for the next generation of leaders. And so I'm really, really excited because we focus on entrepreneurship, leadership development, and civic engagement. And so This year, we're actually teaching like the fundamentals of how to create an online business. And so I'm really, really excited about that. And
Yeah.
so we'll be teaching them like, how to find a product, how to test the product out, and how to launch your product because, there's so many things out there that you can sell, and you can make money
Yeah.
from. And, if this is one skill that they can have that can help them pay for college or help them do the
Absolutely.
things they need to do without having to ask people for money, I think that this would be an important skill for them to have. And then we really just open up the conversation about what does it mean to be a leader in this generation.
Absolutely,
And so,
absolutely. But what you're also doing, which I think is amazing because this actually changes the narrative. And we're used to, learning in a classroom setting or learning and nothing's wrong with like the Boys or Girls Club. We love all of those things, but you're actually introducing them to what could be. So it's almost
yeah,
manifesting it
I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
when you said it, I was like, oh, I'm loving all about this because it's all about perception, right? And so when you actually see it, understanding the laws of attraction and of manifestation, if you're sitting in that space and you're taking it in, you can now kind of breathe it, live it, walk with it.
Yeah.
So talk about what I'm saying because I know everyone's
Yeah,
like, what
so
are you talking
the
about?
dream house, it's a non-traditional learning space. And so
Yeah,
we rent out a home for the week, and our out-of-town students, which this year the students from out of town will be past fellows who are coming back as dream leaders. And then we have some young volunteers coming, and then the local students, because this takes place in Los Angeles, and so the local students will come and we'll do the workshops in the actual house. And so last time we had a dream house where they stayed at the house, people came and spoke to them, but this time we're doing something different, and we're having workshops like in the main areas of the house and activities and just different things that they can do. But it does allow them to have the vision of, hey, if God did it for one person, he can
yeah,
do it for you. And
yeah.
so just allowing them to even visualize being in this home. Very excited because the home is huge. It's actually 3 houses in one. So it's
That's
9
what I
bedrooms.
wanted you to say. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
9 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, a pool, a barbecue area, all of that. We're going to have a business plan competition towards the end, which will be really cool because we're going to have it like as a panel. And so
Yeah.
I'm just really excited because each time we do it, it grows into something bigger. And so
Cool.
this year we're excited to just get, some new content up and really share, what we're doing in the house and, do something fun. So this year we were raising money for the dream house. We're raising $20,000 for the dream house, and we're halfway to our goal. And
Good.
so
Congratulations.
thank you. And so we're hoping next year we'll just have a sponsor.
Be
They'll see this
ready.
and say,
Yeah.
what, I want to sponsor this house.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And before we get out of that, I want to talk about the ages of the children that'll be attending or
Yeah.
that can attend, and if it is any registration still open, where they can find that.
Yes. And so the ages are 16 to 18, if you want to be a fellow. And our dream leader spots are filled, but if you want to be a fellow and come and you're in Los Angeles, definitely visit the website goforyours.com and then just click on dream experience and you can apply.
Yes. And then you say that you're going to open up registration for the next year, probably after, or when are you going to plan to?
You know what? We have not decided exactly when, but it will probably be in the fall.
Okay.
What I'm learning is like planning, recruiting, and fundraising at the same time does not work. Okay. I would not recommend that. But you learn along
Okay.
the way. And so the plan is to start our recruiting this fall so that we can
Okay.
already have our students. And it's always good to have the students because then you're attached to what you're fundraising for. So it's always fun to have students.
Yeah. Super cool. So you have another book that you've recently done, and obviously you're keeping busy. I don't know how you're managing all these things. I told you guys she's a cool kid. So let's talk about your new book.
Yeah, so well, I have two new ones actually. You
Yeah.
see the poster for one behind me, which is all good just a week ago, and that was just a fun book. My friend and I wrote during the pandemic. It's a book of funny dating stories. So if
Mhm.
anybody needs to laugh, to keep their head in the game, I definitely recommend that book. And then Don't Wait, Create is a
I
book that I have
love
been
that.
sitting on for a long time. And so in Go For Yours, we talk about not waiting on an opportunity that you have the power to create. And so I pretty much share my story of like creating and different ways you can create and stuff like that.
Don't wait, create. And guys, anyone
All
that
on
wants to get
Amazon.
that book, just DM Champagne and V, and we will work on getting you a copy of Don't Wait, Create. I think that that is amazing piece of art, and we will share that with any of you guys that do DM me and let me know that you're interested in the book. So talk about your time when you're actually sitting and preparing to write these things. Of course, all good. We know is fun, and that was in the time that we all were sitting and like spinning, probably. But the Don't Wait, Create inspiration behind that.
Um, so I've been wanting to write this book for a long time, like how to not wait on an opportunity that you have the power to create. So many times we sit and wait. We feel like, oh, I want to do this, but I need to meet the right person to help put me on, or I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. You know, we come up with so many excuses. And so, one thing I love about Don't Wait, Create, because I've really learned how to finish projects from start to finish. And
So
so,
necessary.
without knowing, I've created a formula. And so I share that formula of how you can jumpstart your idea. I
Yeah.
think when you have big ideas and you're creative, you're like, oh, how can I get this started? In the midst, it seems like it comes at an inconvenient time. You're trying to figure out how to get it started because, of course, we have all of these other priorities. So Don't Wait, Create. It really, you know, even though it talks about the power of not waiting, it really tells you the steps that you need to take. Anywhere from just, I have this, what is called the Don't Wait, Create model, where, you know, it talks about writing your idea down and writing out your three resources and your next steps that you need to do. Because everything is really just like, what are the next steps? You know, a lot
Sure.
of times we have conversations and we have meetings and we don't leave with next steps. And so, how you can create those different steps to start your business, get things moving, because it's a journey. Like, you can create something today and it may not launch for 5 years, you
Absolutely.
know, and that's okay. But you can also create something and get it off the ground in 2 to 3 months, or some people 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so figuring out like what that looks like and how you can, you know, make sure that you are not neglecting the gifts that God has given you. So
Now, do you think that the time frame that it takes to launch is part our action or just in terms of just the timing?
you know, I think it's a little bit of both. You know, sometimes it can be like divine timing, like this is the time, and then sometimes
Yeah,
we be just sitting and waiting.
the
Um,
time.
and so I think your spirit will definitely let you know, like, okay, which one it is. Because sometimes the ideas are just for later, especially if you're creative. Like I have so many ideas, and I'll say, okay, I'll write this down and I'll save it for later.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think everything, you know, there are times when you may have to wait. It may not be the right time, but even when it's not the right time, how can you get things ready for when it's time to launch? You know, another thing like writing a book and marketing is not the easiest thing to do. You know, there's so many things that you have to do, and even like with Don't Wait, Creating all good just a week ago, like we're not finished yet. We don't have all the book sales that we want, but figuring that piece out. So there's so many levels to, you know, what you want to do. I think the faster that you can get to it, because you can have an idea and you think it's creative. There's actually someone with the same title, Don't Wait, Create, in the same name, which I'm working on dealing with that now, but
Uh-huh.
the same title and same name, you know, so just because you have an idea doesn't mean another person doesn't have it. So you want to make sure that, you know, you power through those ideas. They're
Oh,
given to you
power
for a
through
reason.
it. Yes. Power through it. Now, what do you suggest when you do receive ideas? Where do you suggest that you put them? Journal or
Journal, in your
vision
notes on
boards?
your phone. I have a vision board with a lot of my ideas,
Yeah,
but also just on your phone. Sometimes you can take notes and you can just, have them there. Sometimes I just write it down like, oh, I have this, and I just write it down really fast and come back to it.
yeah, yeah. That's what I do. It's like
Yeah,
a bunch of notes, and you just keep going
yeah,
back to them and adding more and dates.
yeah,
Take away.
yeah,
But it just helps to be able to download it, even though we, think that we can remember. Sometimes things get out of order. And then also in prioritizing, what do you speak about in terms of prioritizing those ideas?
yeah. That's good because when I talk about like the creative process and how that works, just the cycle, there's a step in that process or in that cycle where you begin to think of new ideas because the
Yeah,
one idea you have isn't necessarily working. And so I've approached that a lot. And what I've learned is you have to, again, power through that idea, or sometimes you have to sit back. Is this something I'm supposed to be doing?
right.
And if it is, figuring out how to get through that phase, because it's not easy. Sometimes you're like even me, I'm like, oh, Lord, why did you give me this idea for the dream experience? Like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Like, the money's not
Absolutely.
coming in, all of that. And so
Yeah.
I've had instances where I've tried other ideas. And so understand, like, really, if you have an idea, if you can hone in on one, because that idea can open, like, once you launch it successfully, it'll make room for the other things that you have. And so I would say go with your strongest one.
Okay.
And
Okay.
don't just stop. Like, if you feel like this is not, going well, don't stop because it's not going well, because you can start another idea and then it'll take you forever to get back to that state. And you're going to come back to like, I should have done this, because you're, starting a business and being an entrepreneur. It's not just all about, oh, I can make as much money as I want, or I can create my own schedule. Like,
Yeah.
there's really purpose in that. And so you're going to learn so many things about yourself and learn so many things, just as far as skills and expertise that you may not learn in the classroom.
Sure. Sure.
And so it's important to really like push through those moments and endure them if you can, because you'll leave, with so much more knowledge and you'll be a lot stronger.
Stronger. That's it. As you're powering through, you'll get stronger. So that's
Yeah.
definitely a message to take away. I just can't help but ignore your glow. We love the glow here on
Well,
Champagne and
thank
Conversations.
you.
And I know that as you are lining up your ventures, not to speak too much about it because I know it's in test phases or you're working on
Yeah.
it, but I wanted to talk to you about your glow and what you're doing. What are you planning with that?
So it's funny that you asked, because I'm actually working on a skincare line. I had to send you
Eh,
some
Yay!
products. So it's
Congrats!
skincare. Thank you. It's skincare by E. And I always tell people, I'm like, it wasn't something that, like, a lot of things I started because I was passionate about it. And
Yes.
oh, I want to do this, I want to change lives. But this necessarily was not, it didn't start, it is becoming a passion, but it
Gonna
didn't
say
start,
it changes lives
yeah,
for
it
sure.
didn't start as a passion. I was just
Uh-huh.
like, I want to find a product to sell, pretty much.
Okay.
And, I looked into the business and which route I wanted to go and tested a bunch of products. And so I'm really excited to share. I can't really necessarily share yet what the product is, but it is a serum
Okay.
that I'm starting with. And the brand is Skincare by E. And so I'm really excited.
Cool.
It's something that's allowing me to be creative. But what I have learned, that there's a space for Black women in, health and beauty and skincare.
Yeah.
You can find that lane. It's a lot of work, a lot of research, because you're dealing with skincare. But if you can find some type of lane that, is good, it's $1 billion
And
industry.
we
And I
know
was
the beauty
like, hey,
industry. Absolutely.
yeah, and people think, oh, I can't break into it because, Kylie, people are doing Kylie and Fenty and all of these things, but people really just want an authentic product. It doesn't matter who's
If you're
wearing
right.
it at the end of the day.
Right. And you have so many young people that you're working with, and those young people at this point are going through that acne phase. They're going through, these
Yeah,
changes, the way their diets are or where they sleep and things like that. So if this is, something that works for them, that's your market in and of
yeah,
itself.
yeah,
Because most of those serums and stuff, the younger people would not pay attention to. Most of them would think, oh, that's for the older people because, we
yeah.
got to deal with fine lines and the wrinkles, right? And they're saying, oh no, we don't have to deal with that, but not understanding that even being in chlorine water, if you're a swimmer or, athlete and you're always sweating, those type of things. So if it works for those young people, then, there you are. There's something that can really, really work for them. So congratulations on
Thank
that.
you, thank
And
you.
while we're just having a good time in all of the moments, what else do you have in the wheelhouse?
Listen, the only thing I have is planning my 40th birthday party, okay?
Especially you told the age.
And yes, I don't mind
Okay,
sharing.
okay. Yes.
Um, and taking the month of July off, so and maybe
Okay.
even the whole summer, so I can come back energized. And so
Yes.
I feel like I
Yes.
have enough things on my plate, and so yeah, I'm excited. I might have a few things in the fall I can come back and share, but yeah,
Absolutely.
other than that,
Absolutely. I do want to ask you your, well, soon to be 40-year-old self and your 30-year-old self when you really started into this journey. What would you tell her?
my 30-year-old my 30-year-old self, I would just tell her you are worthy and you deserve every single thing that you're praying for.
Okay.
I think a lot of times, especially as Black women, we feel like we have to prove ourselves in so many situations. I'm sure you've felt that, like, on your job and your relationships, if you're trying to start a business, like, we always feel like we have to prove ourselves worthy. So I would just say you are worthy. You deserve a seat at the table, and not just deserve a seat at the table, but you already have a seat. It's waiting on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for you. Congratulations on everything.
Yeah.
Please share again the Dream House experience. Please share your website so that
Yes.
everyone can find that. And we wish you much success. Good
Yeah.
luck in this process that you're going through now. And we look for more great things to come from you, Miss
Thank
Erica.
you. Thank you. It's www.goforyours.com. And then on Instagram, it's just go for yours, GOFORYOURS. The same on Twitter and Facebook. And then my personal is just Erica, ERIKAR McCall.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing afternoon. We know Erica has a lot of things going on, so she was able to jump on and talk. But I think that this is a great cause. So if you can support, and even if you don't get to support specifically this particular Dream House experience, she will be bringing back another one so we can get ahead of it and be prepared better for next year because we're certainly encouraging the young people to be a part of something to
Yes.
kind of channel their energy and get into an idea of something that they want to do and be able to make it work. I know because I have a young one that I am trying to guide in that direction. So thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for your
Thank you.
time. And hang with us just a moment. I'll take you out. Ladies and gentlemen, Erica McCall, go for yours. I should actually let you say that.
Uh, What, ladies and gentlemen? What do
Go
you
for
want?
yours.
Go for yours. Keep going for yours.
Absolutely.